Hello, I'm back to take on another Robot Master stage of Mega Man 9. I wasn't very chivalrous last time, so let's pull that right and go off to the first, and so far only, female Robot Master in the classic series, Splash Woman. Not too surprisingly, it's the water stage of the game. First up, you're greeted with a couple of mines that like to chase you around the screen until they eventually detonate. You can trigger them by getting in close proximity to them, but in most cases you're best off shooting them from a safe distance. Next up are the Octopi. Shoot at them, or get close to them to make their heads pop up, and then attack. Again though, I'd recommend doing so from a distance, where you'll be safely out of range from their ink shots. And here's one of the main annoyances of the level, the fish. They can attack from both sides of the screen, are quite quick, and can sometimes be difficult to hit. The good news, however, is that they'll always just travel horizontally from where they spawn in, so it's not like they're homing under or anything. As with the earlier section, you can either go left or right here, and if you remain in the middle of the shaft on either side, you'll be perfectly safe. Yay for awkward enemy placement. Keep a close eye on the cannon above, and in particular where the spread shots go. Then, hopefully, you can position yourself out of the crossfire and safely take out the octopus before moving on. To actually do so, I recommend going as far right as possible to scroll the cannon off screen, then move back to the left and take it out as soon as you can. Otherwise, the horizontally moving spread shot will almost certainly get you. Oh, and to end the screen, watch out for the fish, and don't walk into mines. That's my top tip for the day. And if this section looks somewhat familiar, it should do to anyone who's played Mega Man 5. There was a Ride the Bubble section in Wave Man Stage 2. It's a little different this time around. We're underwater, so we jump a lot higher, and we keep getting attacked by fish. Nice. Now, I would recommend jumping on and off the big bubble on the left-hand side here to fake out the fish, so that you can either kill them or let them harmlessly pass over your head, but do be careful not to jump too high, or you'll likely end up landing on the first fish to spawn in. Might as well take out that cannon from the left-hand side through the wall. It'll make your life so much easier. And try to take out the second cannon as soon as possible. It won't always be quickly obvious where the safe spots will be. Now, ultimately, I get a bit impatient here, but what can I say? This cannon is extremely annoyingly positioned. It will drop down low enough that you don't have to use a platform to hit it, so that would be my best advice. However, I'd already taken damage at this point, so with no chance of an accidental perfect run, I got a bit fed up missing the damn thing, so decided to just use the platforms to get some extra height and take the blasted thing out quicker. But at least it was nice enough to drop an energy pellet to refill my pride. Oh, I mean health. Now, disappearing platforms and spikes will usually make any player nervous, but as long as you pay attention to the platform pattern, these two screens are nothing to be afraid of. And for first timers, do what I did here. Stay on solid ground and watch where they go before you head off. A couple of mines to deal with in this penultimate screen, but they're not the main problem, despite my respawning the first back onto the screen. No, it's the fish that come out of nowhere and catch you completely off guard. Especially the last one. So, hope your reflexes are good. And for the last screen, I recommend getting a feel for where the spread shots go before making your way down. Although I was experienced enough to know that there's always a good spot just to the left of where the vertical ones are going to go. Splash Woman is a completely pattern-based Robot Master, and in that regard, she's not too tricky. First off, the mermaid will sing, which will cause a school of fish to swim by, and ideally you'll want to jump over the first wave and just let the second and third waves pass overhead. So then, now at the top of the screen, she'll send lasers down from her trident. And the best way I find to dodge these is to hug the furthest wall away from her initially, then when she reaches that wall, make a beeline for the opposite wall. If you do this, you should avoid both the lasers and Splash herself when she dive bombs at you. Now, during this fight I seem to backtrack a lot at the last moment, which is not advisable. I have no idea why I was doing it, and it cost me right at the end here. I mean, it's not like the hit really matters in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, I shouldn't really be taking damage on this fight. I get Laser Trident, a hugely useful weapon that does a lot of damage to enemies, doesn't use up much weapon energy of its own, and has the added bonus of destroying certain blocks like Crash Bomb, Hard Knuckle or Drill Bomb. So a few clumsy moments here and there on the level, but hopefully nothing too tricky that might have made you thought I couldn't pull this perfect run off. I mean, it's way too early for me to be all washed up. Right? Alrighty, it's perfect run time. And I'm pleased to report, no problems on the first screen. Shoot the mines from a distance, lead them a merry dance, and you'll be fine. And also no problems getting by the octopi. Just, again, keep your distance when attacking, and you won't have any problem. So I decided to go left this time and collect the 1-up. Okay, it's not the same lucky charm it seems to be when an enemy drops one, but why the hell not? And the end of that screen was the first point at which I messed up, what with 2 mines, fish, and a wall cannon to have to watch out for. But once I realised that you can make a run for it past the mines instead of mucking about, I wasn't stuck there for very long. And one mess up on this part. Tried to be too quick for my own good, and paid the price. Instead, find a safe spot to avoid the spread shots before trying to kill the octopus. Oh, and in case you were wondering, no. No outtakes on either of the spike drop sections. Nor any on the bubble riding section. I was always pretty comfortable with faking out the drillfish, and I knew the bubble pattern off by heart too. Okay, so these 2 wall cannons didn't give me any grief, but the one on the platform screen certainly did. A couple of what were probably really clumsy outtakes caused by trying to attack the cannon from higher up and coming a cropper. As I said previously, just take as much time as you need to attack from the ground. You will get your opportunities. And unfortunately, other late level mess ups. 2 on this screen, 1 to each of the fish that caught me completely off guard, and 1 to this final wall cannon. First time I reached here, I panicked, set off the left hand side too quickly, and got sniped. Take a moment to observe where the safe spots are before rushing in. As for Splash, yeah, I stand by what I previously said. She's pretty easy. Robot Masters with cyclical attack patterns do tend to be, and I didn't suffer any mishaps on her. As long as you can jump over Splash and the first fish wave, you'll be fine just to remain on the floor for the rest of the move, and if you hug the wall furthest away from Splash and then keep moving to the opposite wall when she reaches you, don't try to backtrack. You'll avoid all her laser tridents. And with that, it's time for the Robot Mermaid to sing. Another easy stage. Boy, how I've missed those. Not quite as simple as the previous one, but then no other stage is quite as simple as Galaxy. I required 20 minutes to achieve the successful perfect run on Splash's stage, during which time I suffered 8 outtakes, although none on the Robot Master. The level's still pretty easy, but in contrast to Galaxies, now some of the enemies are at least a bit more threatening. I mean, the constant threat of getting fished is enough to make me slightly on edge whenever I'm playing this level. The ones that come in from the right-hand side are usually easy to deal with, as for most of the stage you're moving right, so you're naturally facing them, but having to turn around to deal with the ones coming from the left, or find a good spot to evade rather than worry about attacking them, can make things a tad awkward. Away from fish, there's one area where the mines are unhelpfully positioned and you may need to pull off some fancy manoeuvring, and the first screen with the moving platforms has an annoying wall cannon to have to deal with. Ironically, the one moving platform screen without spikes on is the hardest of all of them. Also, the last screen has a slightly annoying wall cannon to initially get by, so be careful here, and I'd probably recommend waiting for it to fire a few times to get a feel for where the safe spots are. This is not the best of times to make a mess of things, as I found out. As for Splash, she's a very pattern-based Robot Master, which usually, and this isn't an exception, means a relatively straightforward fight. She'll zigzag to the top of the screen, sending schools of fish your way, fire tridents at you from the top of the screen, and lastly dive bomb towards you. Dodging the last 2 attacks is easy, certainly once you know about the trick to hug the furthest wall from Splash for the first wave of laser tridents. It's the first attack that might cause some problems. Ideally you want to jump all the way over Splash. This seems to naturally avoid all the fish at the same time, although there are some occasions where this becomes difficult to do, and I can't quite put my finger on why. However, this doesn't seem to happen too often, so I don't think it's anything worth complaining about. Once again, I couldn't exactly be too upset with the relatively short time taken and number of outtakes, so my good mood continued. And this all means that I give Splash a 2 out of 10. I think some of the fish, mines and wall cannons certainly justify a higher rating than 1. The former 2 will definitely catch you out if you're unprepared for them, especially the fish zooming in from the sides of the screen, even more so when they zoom in from the left, and that one screen with the moving platforms and the wall cannon can be a bit of a pain to time. Splash equally is really not that bad, but dodging her fish schools is certainly triggered any of Galaxy's attacks, albeit I didn't suffer any outtakes when trying to perfect run her. So 2 down, 6 to go, 1/4 of the way through. But let's not get carried away just yet. This is certainly no time to go stirring up the hornet's nest. See you next time.